Welcome back to study section 4 on AGA 201 Introduction on Agricultural Economics. We talked theory of demand and supply on the previous study section, but here we'll be talking about the concepts of elasticities of demand and supply. Introduction. The concept of elasticity is to show the type of relationship that exists between quantities of commodity and the factors that affect the demand and supply, as both quantity and any of these factors change. So at the end of this learning outcome, you should be able to define the meaning of elasticity. You should be able to explain the elasticity of demand. You should be able to explain the meaning of income elasticity of demand, and also explain the cross elasticity of demand. Let's discuss this one after the other. Elasticity means the responsiveness of quantity, that is either demand or supply, to changes in the factors that affect demand or supply. All these factors have been discussed in our previous study section. So elasticity could be measured as a point or arc of elasticity. Point elasticity is the measurement if the changes in the variables of interest are very small, that is, at a point in both quantity and factors of interest. It is the first derivative of the demand or supply function. Y-arc elasticity is the elasticity measurement if the changes in both quantity and the factors of interest are large. So EP can be calculated as change in quantity multiplied by initial price divided by change in price multiplied by initial demanded quantity. Elasticity of demand is the responsiveness of quantity demanded of a commodity to changes in the factors that cause the change in the demand. So the important elasticities of demand are as follows. We have the price elasticity of demand. This measures the responsiveness of demand to changes in the commodity's own price. So the point price elasticity of demand is the first derivative of the demand function. Price elasticity of demand is calculated when differentiating the demand function with respect to price. So most times price elasticity of demand is negative because demand function, which is the curve, has a negative slope. So basic determinants of price elasticity of demand are: the first one is availability of substitutes. The demand for commodity is more elastic if there are close substitutes for it. The second one is time period. Demand is more elastic in the long run process. The third one is proportion of income spent on a particular commodity, and so on. So we have 5 types of price elasticity of demand, which includes the following. We have perfectly elastic demand, and perfectly elastic demand is a small decrease in a price given rise to an indefinite large increase in amount demanded. So the demand curve for a perfectly elastic demand is an horizontal line, and the numerically elasticity of demand is infinite, that is, the EP is equal to the infinite symbol. Perfectly inelastic demand. In a perfectly inelastic demand, whatever the original price is, a reduction in that price will lead to no increase at all in the amount demanded. So the demand curve is a vertical line, and the numerical elasticity of demand is 0. That is, the EP is equal to 0. And the third type of elasticity of demand is, and the third one is unitary. And this is being gotten as the proportional change in the price of a commodity results in the same proportionate change in quantity demanded. So the curve slopes from left to right, and the numerical elasticity elasticity of demand under the unitary elasticity is equal to 1 throughout the length of the demand curve. That is, the EP is equal to 1. Elastic demand, that is the fourth type of elasticity of demand. Elastic demand is a proportionate change in the price of a commodity results in more than proportionate change in quantity demanded. The numerical elasticity of demand is between 1 and infinite. That is, 1 is less than EP and is less than infinite. So the fifth one is inelastic demand. An inelastic demand is a proportionate change in the price of commodity which results in a less than proportionate change in quantity demanded. The numerical elasticity of demand is between 0 and unity. So price elastic demand is used as a planning tool and also to classify goods as superior and inferior goods. For example, luxurious have high elasticity of demand. Example of luxurious are jewelries and expensive. Given goods have inelastic demand because the numeric elastic is between 0 and unity. We have income elasticity of demand. Income elasticity of demand is the proportionate change in the quantity demanded of commodity resulting from proportionate change in the income of consumer. Income elasticity Income elasticity can be positive or negative. Mathematically, quantity demanded, change in quantity demanded over change in initial income. So multiply by the initial income divided by Q, change divided by the income. Mathematically, quantity demanded, mathematically, if y is equal to change in Q over change in y multiplied by y over Q, where Q is equal to quantity demanded, y is equal to initial income. dq or delta Q is equal to change in quantity demanded, y delta y or change in y is change in the income. So there are basic determinants of income elasticity of demand, which are: the first one is the nature of the need that commodity covers. Another one, the percentage of income spent on food declines as income increases. The initial level of income of a country, and also the time period, because consumption patterns adjust with time lag to changes in income. Uses of income elasticity on demand are: luxurious have income elasticity that is greater than unity. Necessities have income elasticity that is between 0 and unity. Inferior goods have income elasticity that is less than 0. Theory of supply. Cross elasticity of demand is the proportionate change in the quantity demanded of a commodity, that is the X, which results from a proportionate change in the price of another commodity, Y. The cross elasticity can be positive or negative. So the basic determinant of cross elasticity is in the nature relative to their uses. The basic determinant of cross elasticity is the nature of commodity relative to their uses. So cross elasticity of demand is used to classify goods as complementary and substitute goods. Complementary goods of X and Y have negative cross elasticity. Substitutes have positive cross elasticity. Elasticity of supply is the measure of the responsiveness of supply to changes in commodities on price. So the price elasticity of supply is positive. So types of elasticity of supply are usually 3 elasticity of supply, 0 elasticity of supply, infinite elasticity of supply. You can read more about the explanation of these in your study materials. So demand and supply analysis in agriculture are: agricultural products are inelastic in demand because they are generally necessary for human existence. Agricultural products are inelastic in supply because of the seasonality in the products, and thus the production cannot easily be varied no matter the demand. The interaction of demand and supply determines the market prices of agricultural products. So the price controls of agricultural products during the period of shortage protects consumers from paying exorbitant prices. We have come to the end of this study section. I hope you've learned one or two things from this video section. Join me for the next study section. Thank you for listening.